I'm the huntress, Rip Van Winkle, Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Sailor. My bullet punishes all without distinction. Silly creature.
Hi, and welcome again to more Hellsing Volume 4. My name is Taliesin Jaffe, and sitting to my right...
Hi, I'm Kari Wahlgren, and I do the voice of Rip Van Winkle in the show. And welcome to New Gen Pictures, where we are right now in the far-flung corners of the subtitling department. Yes.
Yes.
Aren't we, though?
Yeah, no. Strange.
Jetzt auf in Bergen und Klüften tobt morgen der freudige Krieg des Walden.
When did you start acting? Just to start out with.
Voice acting specifically?
No, just acting, an interest in acting.
I was one of those really obnoxious kids that always, wanted to do it from the time they were very itty-bitty. So I was singing and performing from a very young age. And I was always very fascinated by cartoons and always had this idea that there were people doing the voices for the cartoons, and always wanted to do that when I grew up. So when I eventually moved out to LA, I was pursuing more on-camera work and commercials and things like that, and doing the voiceover on the side and trying to get that going. And just went to this audition for this show that I had not heard of before, and it ended up getting the job, and it was FLCL, Fooly Cooly, which is
never heard of that. No,
apparently kind of a popular show, and so that was my introduction to anime, and from there I just started doing more anime and other kinds of voiceover, and knock on wood, it's gonna keep going.
Yeah, no, I know you, but other than FLCL, I'd forgotten about that, actually.
Yeah.
It's an amazing piece of
In
work.
fact, my famous quote about working on that show was, I'm trying to learn about anime and about dubbing and everything as we're doing the show. And somebody said in one of the recording sessions, wait until the fans hear this. And I said, quote, "We have fans?" unquote. And they're like, yeah, anime is a big thing, and there's tons of fans, and there are like blog spaces and conventions. I'm like, they do conventions? So it was, it was quite the eye opener.
And then, what do you remember some strange progression? The next thing I remember first becoming aware of you through Scrap Princess.
Actually, there were a few things before that. I think.
Time-wise, it must have been. I know that was Scrap Princess was well after Hellsing, the original 13-episode Hellsing.
I think Witch Hunter Robin.
Witch Hunter Robin,
was another one early on. I think the first thing after FLCL was maybe a little bit part on Lupin the Third. On some episode, I was some Swedish supermodel chick with a tattoo of a map on her back or something like that. And then Witch Hunter Robin came along, and that was very exciting. And Wolf's Rain was another early one, and it just kind of went from there. And it's kind of a cool community because once you kind of get into the swing of it with people, they kind of remember who you are, and you tend to get hired, and they keep you in mind for different things in the future. And you still have to audition a lot, but it's a close-knit community.
Well, you've also made the jump to prelay, as a few of our people have done as well, which
Yes.
I suppose we should really quickly describe. It's in dubbing. In dubbing, we record everything. Obviously, we have animation. We have to set everything to sync.
Right.
For more traditional cartoons, they record all the audio first and then animate to it.
Exactly, something like The Simpsons or Fairly Odd Parents or some show like that. A prelay or original animation show, they also call it. We lay down the voice tracks first, and then they ship it to wherever they're animating it, and that's very cool in some ways.
I call it the cheating method.
Cheating, yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, they're both very cool. They're just very, very different. But I do have one interesting memory from doing an original animation show. That we were recording, and I did something in the recording session where I went fists zapping like that, and they had a room full of animators in the studio, and they kind of sketching and some of the early episodes. And sure enough, we get done with the episode, it all gets finished, and they air it. And my cartoon character actually on that line went, fists a zapping.
She does the jazz hands when she...
She does the jazz hands and the big wide eyes, and it was exactly my facial expression from recording it. So it was kind of fun.
That's gotta be very pleasing.
It's very surreal. She's like, wow, I'm a cartoon.
I emoted that. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
What is happening? It's him! Oh no! Oh God! It's the madness! I hear him! He has come for me! He charges his prey upon a steed of black iron, the stench of death lies standing in his wake.
So how I'm a little hazy just because I'm useless. I'm completely useless. How did we actually get here? I'm trying to remember at what point it seemed like a good idea to. First, had you ever heard of Hellsing before? I know we had kind of vaguely talked before, but not really.
I heard of Hellsing. It pops up at conventions everywhere, and obviously, I know of it being a very popular title.
My God, what's wrong with those kids and what are they wearing? Yeah, I hear that one.
No, I was always very drawn to the artwork, and I was always very drawn to the idea of the story because, man, I went through a big phase where I was really into vampires, and loved the romantic, dangerous. All the things that make us love vampires. So I was aware on it on a few different levels, but I wasn't a regular viewer of the series. So when we kind of talked and the idea came about that maybe I could do this little guest spot on Hellsing, I was very excited about it. Didn't quite realize how violent it was. So that was kind of a bit of a shock.
It hadn't occurred to me either. After we met it was a con it was a convention in Kansas City. It was a good con. I had a good time.
Kansas, yeah.
And we were sitting. We had that little panel, and it was a good time.
And the plane trip back.
And I remember I called Crispin just a short time after that, and I said, "Yeah, Kari might come in and read for this." And Crispin said, "Really?
Really? Oh, that's good. That's good.
Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah." It hadn't occurred to me. He's like, he was very surprised, and he was like, "I can't wait to hear that."
Did he say something like, "Does she know?"
He did kind of hint, like, "Did you actually explain to her what was involved?"
Well, and you didn't quite.
Well,
I showed up on the first day of recording, and you were telling me slightly about the Crispin story, and you were like, "By the way, you've got like this 10-minute death scene." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And then it happens.
And then, sure enough, there's a 10-minute death scene. But it was a really cool 10-minute death scene.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Give me one more, and give it a bit of a childish turn to it.
Okay.
I don't know how many accents you've had to deal with in shows like this before, or whether that's come up or.
A lot, but never German. I was really, really nervous about the German. I'm still really, really nervous about the German, but now it's recorded, so I can't do anything about it. So blog away, kids, blog away. But it was a great challenge. It was really fun to kind of tackle that, and I listened to a number of dialects CDs beforehand to just at least come close.
We try to give you a little bit of time.
Yeah, they tried to give me a little bit of time. So this was my first time to do a German accent.
And then singing in a German accent.
Yeah, let's
in German.
layer that on. That actually, I have sung in German. When I was taking, I was a voice minor in college, and so we had to sing songs in various languages. We had to do Italian and French, and we did German. And that was an experience, but, you know, it had been a while since I'd sung in German, so. But it was really fun, because I don't get a chance to do that very often anymore, so.
There's not nearly enough singing.
There's not nearly enough singing in anime.
And boy, I've had most of it already at this point.
Yeah.
So I keep stealing the shows with songs in them. But
See, steal more.
I'm trying.
Come on, characters need to break out into song more often.
More musicals in the
That's
world,
right,
yeah.
more musicals.
Or German musicals.
I mean, come on, if a Nazi vampire can sing, you can find reasons to sing in anything.
And we're very pleased with it so far. I mean, I'm very excited to finally. Well, I guess by the time this is being shown, it'll already be out there. But
Right.
I've been patiently waiting to show people.
And of course the Major. He's so proud. You definitely deserve everything that's coming to you. Well, I guess the only thing left for you to do, you dirty limey, is die.
So let's talk about. So we've been dancing around it. Let's talk about Rip Van Winkle for a second.
Okay.
Because tell me about your impressions and like what you kind of. I mean, like I remember you coming into audition and sort of trying to get a feel on this very strange character who's.
Well, it is a tricky character, and I remember being in the audition process, and the exact same thing that you said was the whole give me some Mark Hamill, put the Hamill on it, you know, the psychotic kind of Joker element, and that helped a lot because, you know, once I got the handle of her being not the in control all the time chick, but more of the crazy chick. That was fun. Then it was just like, all right, let's go for it.
Yeah, she doesn't really spend a lot of time in control of anything. A good portion of her character is of her time spent on screen is being very, very much out of control.
Yeah.
And having lost control in a spectacular fashion.
Very bipolar.
Very bipolar.
You know, when she's not really manically happy about some really terrible things that she's doing, she's really losing it emotionally and crying and screaming and wailing.
Yeah,
of course, if I got stabbed with a big gun and, you know.
What like you do. Yeah.
Then I think I'd be kind of sad. So.
When we were adapting her dialogue, my roommate actually, who occasionally like crows her head over my hunched back to watch what I'm doing, said that part of my problem in any way is that I don't realize when a girl is just sort of rambling off, rhyming like repetitive children's rhymes, that there's probably something wrong with her and you should run the other direction. I'm like, oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with her. What was I mean, like, and coming in, you really, I mean, we sort of, I know it was, you know, these two sort of very dissonant recording sessions that we got everything together in for this character, and the first one was really just. For our first recording session, we really just dealt with the death sequence and really,
we did the whole death scene first, which actually I think was great because
it was the right choice.
I really think it was, because once you get through the intensity of all of that, you just feel so freed up as an actor to just go to weird places.
It's not looming there. You don't have to.
Yeah. It really. I mean, after that, it's just like, okay, well, you can't warm up any more than that. So.
Yeah. What I mean, what would you say would have been like the challenge of this character? Just I mean, 'cause it was different from anything. At least anything I've seen you do, and I've tried to keep up. So.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, it was very, very different from anything that I've done before. I've played some villains and some bad characters. But, you know, the psychotic element, along with the accent, along with the singing, along with the intensity of everything that's going on visually, it was a really challenging character. I don't think I've been that nervous about a character in a while. And it was such a long time between when we first recorded the first session with the death, and then it was a really long time before the next session. So I yeah, I actually lost a little sleep on this one. Got a little.
Excellent. That's good. That's what I like to hear.
That's right.
But I mean, this was one of the things that we really, I mean, just from what I was familiar with what your body of work is, how you sort of ended up in this was because I was kind of this character had to could have been a lot of things, but it was really my hope to keep Rip Van Winkle sort of floating in the center and just jumping from island to island of character archetype, where there's moments where she has to really be this sadistic pixie, kind of that vicious little Tinkerbell that she is. Get behind me, you know, and that's just, I mean, that is Tinkerbell on a bad day.
That's one of my favorite moments too, where she does the
Big
whole
Cheshire Cat
limey, it's time to die, because it just kind of, and I remember you directing that part and just saying, just turn it on a dime and just make it turn into the little monster in the closet. And so that ended up being one of my favorite moments, because it's just like,
oh, it's a great moment. It's one of those moments where she's just not human, and you really get that the inhumanity of this thing.
Because at first you get, oh, she's a little off, she's a little obnoxious,
She's a little
blah blah.
ditzy
Oh
and,
wait,
you know.
she's crazy, and she's got a big gun.
Crazy with the big. I love the big gun.
I do too. Who doesn't love a big gun? Sorry. I will say that is one great thing about being a voice actor, because you literally talk to your friends or your family and they say, you know, you have to go to work today. Yes, I have to go play a Nazi vampire today. Without a trace of irony.
No, not in there. Like, you are completely
Not even
serious.
a trace. I'm completely serious.
I get the phrase, if it were anybody else, I hear quite often.
If it were anybody else.